Outriders Demo. It's been out for over a week. I think it's time for a review. Hey y'all! Welcome on to West Games, the gamer channel that provides you a variety of entertainment and content. But here, before I kick things off, I'd appreciate the love y'all sharing and hitting those icons you need to click. And with that said, check out the social medias where I post daily and keep in touch with the followers. Now let go. Alright, with this review, I'm going to cover some main points here. I got some outlines, and I just want to see if this is coming out to be you either buy or you save your money. So let's start with the storyline, which, in all honesty, in looter shooters and pretty much every goddamn game, unless it's like a Rockstar game, I don't really pay attention to storylines. But Outriders, this is that futuristic, apocalyptic, space traveling story, and in all honesty, that sells me every goddamn time. I watch TV series about that kind of shit, and I watch every movie that's all about this shit. So yes, they got me on the story. And just to break it down real quick, long story short, you left broken Earth. Earth is fucked. You're saying bye. You arrive on Enoch, which is our alternate Earth. There's a big storm. You happen to get into a cryo freeze, and you're there for about 31 years or so. You wake up. Now there's two sets of humans. There's two factions. You got the so-called good guys, and you got the so-called bad guys. Which one? Now here's the question that I'm chasing for with this storyline. Are we actually the good guys? They got, you got Barker over there, or not Barker, but Reiner saying, yo, we're the good guys, y'all the ones who fucked us over. And so it's got me interested. Yo, are we actually the good guys? We haven't heard their story. We haven't heard much of a story yet. We got to catch up on all this. So the storyline sells me. So buy or save, I'm going to have to go and say buy on the storyline. That's if you're hard into the storyline. Now for the combat, it is a looter shooter, third person. This bitch has to have some combat. We are fighting humans and monsters. To me, the combat's awesome. With the skills, with those very short cooldowns, it just equals constant action. And the cool thing about it, with the killing, that's how you're regenerating your health / armor. Now, yeah, it's cool to use skills and all that and then sit back and just wait for enemies to die. No, fuck that. Get in their face, use those skills, add all these kind of status effects. It just gets crazy, especially when you're with the squad. Now, as for solo gameplay, I'm not a big solo guy in general. In fact, I don't like any kind of game solo unless it's Sudoku or some shit. But as for this game with this combat, it's, to me, in my opinion, stellar. I want a game that's in the face, fucking shit up, and feel like you're actually doing something instead of bullet sponges and same old replay of just the gunplay with a skill here and there every couple minutes. Now fuck that. Constant action. It's just good for, it keeps me engaged. So in the combat aspect, yeah, I'm buying this bitch again. So that's 2 on them. Now as for the feel of the game, I had a couple gripes at the beginning. I immediately noticed some shits like, yo, this is kind of trippy, which is the cover system, which I'll cover in the future here. But their cover system and that blur effect you get, that motion blur when you sprint. Alright, and you saw that immediately and you went into the options like, fuck that. Every game has motion blur these days. Guess what? I'd say a high fucking percentage of us immediately go and switch that shit off. This is a shooter. We want to be aware of our surroundings, and when we got that motion blur, yeah, it's cool. Maybe in VR it's cool, and driving games. But in the shooter, I want all my frames where I can see, use my peripheral, and be well aware of my environments / combat. So motion blur, and guess what? They've already addressed both of these. this is a demo, goddammit, and they've addressed both of these. They're working on the cover system. It's just annoying the way the cover system worked with. You couldn't tell if you're going into the action of going into cover. It just looks like your character is like meandering to get there. There's no fucking purpose. Like, bitch, get in cover. You need to get in cover. You're getting your ass shot at. And then the cover to cover system. Alright, I don't know about y'all, but when you're moving cover to cover, especially if it's forward, you're not going to vault over your cover to get to the other. You want to side that bitch and move up. And in the current system as it is, the cover to cover, you're more vulnerable moving up to that cover instead of doing a combat dodge or a combat roll and or taking another route. It's just, it needs to be addressed. And what? Yeah, they're already addressing it. That's cool. The blur effects, again, it's annoying as shit. Now as for the character movement, I'm loving it. I love when you go into sprint, you can practically run in circles and not having to be face forward the whole time. Your character, your body is allowed to turn about face 180 and run freely. Now when you have that, you have so much freedom in your movement, it makes for good combat. But in other games, you have this 180 degree turn about face feature. And yes, Outriders has it. It's not as smooth. You kind of have to work on it to adjust where it's actually usable in the game and it actually benefits you. I'm still working on getting that down, but it's not as easy as, say, the Division 2. The Division 2 does the camera movement for you, whereas Outriders, you do that 180 about face. You have to move the camera. You manually have to do that. So, it's cool that they have the feature, but the camera movement itself could be adjusted with it, which would make it A+. Now, here's another big gripe. Like I said, I'm loving the character movement, but there's some features, alright? There's some features that can be done. Field of vision, field of view, however the fuck you say it. Guess what? PC has that bitch. God damn it, the consolers, we got screwed again. We all want field of vision options. It's PS5 days. It's 2021. Why aren't our games coming with field of view already? Because when we aim down sight on console, we don't have that option where we keep it back. As we ADS, we keep the field of vision the same. No, depending on the weapon in this game, determines how much your ADS and the camera, your view zooms with it. I don't want to zoom in. I want to keep it as is. Console, let's get some love over here. We want that option where field of view. So as for the feel, right now, not that good. But they're addressing it and they're fixing it, which is great on their end. But as for me, it's still below average. On replayability, mind you, this is the demo where we get capped at level cap 7 and world tier 5. That being said, and it's demo where we had 5 weeks to play this bitch, I've already maxed out 6 characters, and that was willingly. The game itself is fucking fun, but as for that replayability, that end game, when we're just chasing to get up to the highest world tier, and we have side quests, we have some monsters to kill, but I don't feel it's going to be a 2 to 3 year kind of game with the current system as it is with their end game. Now they have proven that they're listening to us, and I can guarantee 3-man squads is not enough just to run through the content in their little progression system that they have. I totally believe they need to add some more shit. I'm looking into raids. Where's the horde mode? There's some modes, there's some different game content that can be added, and that keeps this game live longer than, because to be honest with you, at where it is, just chasing that world tier progression, I could be done with this game in a third of the year to half a year and just be totally burnt out on it and don't give a fuck to ever pick it back up again. So hopefully they add some more replayability features, some game modes that keeps us engaged. Now as for the Outriders team, who's been on the social medias and working still at beyond the demo release. Now these dude, their finger is on the pulse with the players. They are keeping up with us. They are listening. They are responding. They're not just listening, but they're taking immediate action. They've patched the fucking demo. Have you ever heard of a game patching on the demo? No, they're like, yo, at release, these will be fixed. Now, it could be because they have the demo out for 5 weeks and that our progression carries through onto release day. So we're already in the game as it is. So maybe they just feel obliged, or they feel the necessity to actually go ahead and patch now because our characters already in the game and going to be beyond at release. But either way, fucking stellar on them. A+ on their responses. Their social media game is tight. They got the two big gripes that I had with the character movement, the feel of the game, they've already addressed, in the works to being fixed like soon. Some kind of patch coming out this week where they're going to address the motion blur, or we're going to be able to toggle that off in the options. And then the cover system, which was shit, but they're working on it. Man, I can love me some developers that actually listen to just give us what we want in the game. Yeah, it's very hard to throw in extra content in a game. You gotta make shit up, create world, whatever you gotta do. But the quality of life is another big important feature in a game. And the fact that they're just right there on top of it. Man, I love where this game could possibly go. Now, as for will they address with the adding additional game content, that's the big question. That's the big, where does this game go? As in, is this going to be a playable game for half a year? Or is this going to be a multi-year fucking lifespan? That's the big question. Which has me with the video calling it buy or save, whatever the fuck I titled this. The big question is, do you buy or do you save that money? We're in hard times. Is this game going to give you your money's worth? Now, as for me, just playing through the world tiers to all the way to 15 and beat the game, air quotes, yeah, I would buy it. Thing is, I pre-ordered this bitch back, well, I pre-ordered like recently, but I thought I pre-ordered back in PS4. I thought I bought this game like in October, but I did buy it like 2 weeks ago or some shit, and I'm sold. But that was before the demo even released. I was kind of already fanboying this shit before release, but now after playing it for over a week in the demo and their responses, and after playing the combat, the feel, the story, I would say this is a buy for your looter shooter type people. And fuck it, for you sci-fi people. The skills are amazing. I mean, I would buy. Fuck saving money on this game. We're in a lull here with third-person shooters on consoles. This is an excellent third-person shooter game. The big question, is this a multi-year game or is it a half-a-year game? Now that's yet to be determined. And by God, I am all on their team. I am on their side and hope that they figure that end game out. Because as is, it's not going to make it, in my opinion. What do y'all think? Are y'all buying? Have you bought? Are you still on the fence? Or are you like, nah, game's not for me? Tell me what you think. I want to hear. This is a game I'm going to be engaged with every goddamn day of my life in the next half year, at least. Let me know how y'all feel. Outriders, y'all keep up the fucking good work y'all are doing. And as always, I say, peace.